The weather right now is so deceiving because it looks so beautiful, so sunny, so nice out when it actually has humidity from hell. Like, I'm not going out. So I am so sorry to the person who asked me to do this video. I cannot find your comment, and I know you commented it like 2 or 3 months ago, even. Like, it's been a while, but I've been gathering a list. So someone commented and asked me if I could do Touch Her and I'll Kill You book recommendations, which I love. I love a fictional man who unalives another person in the name of his woman. Like, please give me more of that. So I have a lot of books that have that trope, but I've really been trying to get like an array of not all mafia, some standalone, some series. Like, I've just been trying to gather up a list together. So I finally have a list, but I'm sorry, I don't know who commented that. So if you did, please comment again below, and so I can thank you for asking me to do this video. So it's been a long time coming, and then also Naima from Naima's Reads, she also just did one of these like a month or so ago, so then I didn't want to like upload mine like right after that, so then I again like did some other videos to try to space those out, and I'm gonna tag her video down below. Please go watch it to get even more recs. She did have 2 books on that list that I had on mine, so jump over to her video, you'll get some other great ones as well. So I picked all different ones from her, so that way like you can watch both of our videos and be set with lots of recs. My intros get long enough already, let's just jump in. First, oh, I'm so mad, my physical copy should be coming in the mail like today, but I wanted to just get this filmed, and that is Twisted Love by Anna Huang. So this is a contemporary one, so it's not mafia, but trust me, that does not mean that Alex is a soft boy whatsoever. So this one is the first in a series, however, they are standalones-ish. There are only 2 out so far. I do recommend reading at least this one if you're interested in reading Twisted Games, which is the second book. Read this one first. This one is my favorite, my current obsession. I am so obsessed with this book and Alex. And I love Ava too, but Alex just really pulls this book through for me. So this one, like I said, is a contemporary. It's also a brother's best friend, grumpy sunshine, just like all the goodness in these. And Alex is like a billionaire too, so throw that in. Ava's brother is going overseas, so he asks his best friend, Alex, to kind of keep an eye on her, and he moves in next door. And Alex is just like cold, unfeeling, stone, brooding kind of guy. And Ava is like super sunshiny, loves life, but also has like her own shit, but you know, like chooses to see the good, which is what I personally like in like a sunshiny heroine. So this follows them. Ava goes on into like an operations emotion kind of thing to try to like pull emotions out of Alex, which was entertaining because Alex is just so like, but I love that. I love a really cold man, and he's like such a nice man, and I just love it. It works so well. And Alex, he's not afraid to unalive people, and he's also not afraid to unalive people for Ava. He is such like a protective, possessive, touch her and I'll kill you kind of guy. Like, I don't really know how else to explain it, except that Alex, like, you know, you might see some unaliving in this book. And so I will just say, so for all the recs in the video, some of them don't specifically have men who do unalive people for touching their women, but I would say there are quite a few that do, and this one does. I love Alex. Alex is my favorite book boyfriend right now, and I just love him. So anyways, Twisted Love by Anna Huang. Go read it. Next up is the second book in a series, and I will say that every single man in this series is like this. So if you really want to like dive into something that's full of like man after man after man that have this touch her and I'll kill you vibe, this is the series for you. However, I did just pick out this one to highlight it, and that is Twisted Emotions by Cora Riley. This one is a mafia book, and it's the second book in a series. So this one follows Nino and Chiara, and Nino is, no, he's like the second in command kind of in the mafia. His brother Remo is the mafia boss in Las Vegas, and he's like his right-hand man. And Nino does not feel emotions, which is really cool, but he has this soft spot for Chiara, of course, which I also love a man that like hates everyone but has a soft spot for her. So that is in this as well. Me here, I forgot to say that Chiara is from a rival family, and it's an arranged marriage. So this one again does actually, you see him unalive a man for touching Chiara, and I just loved it. I love Nino, I love Chiara. I will say look up triggers for this one because there are some things in Chiara's past that can be triggering for some people, so just be aware of that going into this. But Nino is, I mean, he's a mafia man, so he's not afraid to get his hands dirty, and he's definitely not afraid to get his hands dirty in the name of his woman. So I love that. I love, again, another like cold, aloof alpha, but he's like way more so than Alex, because I would say like he literally doesn't feel emotions. But they also have a second book. They have another one, which is book 4 in the series, which again, really great. More Nino and Kiara, and more you see him like unaliving people. And he is just very fiercely protective over Kiara, especially with his brothers too. Like he always makes sure that someone is making sure that she's okay and comfortable and safe. So he just really takes his protectiveness to the next level, and it's just great. But like I said, all the brothers in the Falcone family are like this, except maybe Adamo. His book 6 maybe isn't as much like that. But books 1 through 5, all of them have this energy, which just makes me love them all, honestly. Oh, I just look at this book and I get happy. So this one is the 3rd book in a series. So while Twisted Emotions you could read as a standalone, like you don't need to read Twisted Loyalties first in order to read this. I don't personally think. I do think you pick up on things and it is a little better if you do, but you don't have to. This one is book 3 in a series, and I would recommend reading the whole series. They are recommended to. So I would say definitely don't just jump in to this one. However, again, this is kind of the instance where the 3 guys, Michael, Kai, and Damon all are like this. I would say Will, like, not as much, but the first 3 books in this series, all of the guys radiate this energy, but there's one that just tops them all, and that is Damon. Kill Switch by Penelope Douglas, the 3rd book in the Devil's Night series. If you haven't read this series, or if you've just read Corrupt and you're like, you haven't kept going, why are you not keeping on going? I promise they get better. Corrupt is my least favorite in the series. Hideaway and Kill Switch are tied as my first. I can't ever pick. I go back and forth all the time of which one is my favorite. So many great tropes in this series. So many great characters. It just like, I can't say enough good things about the series. So this one follows Damon and Winter. So Winter and Damon, they knew each other when they were younger, and then there was an accident, and Winter is blind now. And then we get dual timelines and dual perspectives in this. So we're jumping back and forth between one Devil's Night, where something happened between Damon and Winter, and then in the future, when they're in a new kind of interesting situation where Damon is actually getting married to her sister. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up, but it's so good. I can't really say too much plot-wise because, again, like, I don't really want to spoil anything that happens in Corrupt and Hideaway, and the chance that you do end up reading these. I will just say Damon is so fiercely protective of Winter, and he's like slightly off his rocker, which I just absolutely love. He is like the quintessential bad boy to me, where he's like, I don't even know, I hated him so thoroughly in the first book, and I was like, literally, fuck this dude, he's horrible, I hated him. And then in Hideaway, I was like, I still don't like you, I still don't trust you. And then in this book, I was like, I will kill for you. Like, I love you. Definitely radiates that energy of being like a really protective man over his woman, and is not afraid to get his hands dirty for her. So, I need to stop because I'm just gonna keep rambling. Also, if you're looking for spice, there's a threesome in this. Just saying. Okay, next up is a trilogy, and they actually all follow the same couple. So I believe there's actually like 6 books in this series, but the first 3 all follow the same couple. I haven't actually read the next 3 who follow different couples. I just haven't been in the mood to go back to it. But the first book is Deviant King by Rena Kent. This one follows Aiden and Elsa, and this is a high school bully romance. However, it is dark, and the bullying is heavy. Like, Aiden is horrible to Elsa. But once she just like worms her way into his heart and he realizes that this is his girl, oh, will he go to bat for her. He is not afraid to defend her to the very end. And oh, Aiden is such like an alpha possessive male, like to the extreme. So if you don't love if you don't love alpha possessive males, I don't know what you're doing watching this video, because I feel like if they have this kind of energy, to me, they all seem to be very alpha. So, but I will just say Aiden to the extreme really like gets on Elsa. So anyways, this is a high school romance, but don't let the high school label fool you. it's not really juvenile, if you know what I mean. So Aiden repeatedly picks on Elsa, and Elsa's kind of like, what did I ever do to you? Because she literally shows up to this new school on the first day, and he say like, I'll kill you, or like, I will ruin you? He says something along those lines to her, and she's like, literally, I just showed up here, dude. And he's being rude to her right off the bat. She kind of keeps going on throughout the years, and then towards the end of, I don't remember what year they are, if they're juniors or seniors. I think maybe they're seniors and they're getting ready to graduate maybe. And she's finally like, literally, what is your problem? And she starts fighting back. And I can't again say too much plot wise about these, just know that there is a lot of like plot and back history and like twisted family things between the people in this book. So I think it's kind of good to go in blind, but I think if you just know the basic premise of it's a high school bully and Aiden, you just know Aiden is going to be protective over his woman. You'll really enjoy it. I couldn't resist doing another mafia one. I know, but there's just one scene in here that lives in my head rent free because of this book, and that is The Sweetest Oblivion by Danielle Laurie. So this one follows Nico and Elena. So Elena is a daughter of a mafia boss, and she originally runs away, and she's the oldest daughter in the family, and she creates a bit of a scandal, and she is no longer marriage material. So her younger sister is actually then proposed to be engaged to Nico, who is another mafia boss. You know, they're like trying to make family ties, make peace, or whatever. Elena can't really seem to stay away or from being drawn to her sister's fiance Nico, and Nico feels the same way. He's like, I don't really know if this is the right sister for me. There is just one scene in here at a gas station where Nico, he is that bitch. So he does a little something to defend Elena, which is, I mean, it is like a touch her and you'll die moment. He literally has that moment here. So if you love that and like actually seen it in real time, unaliving someone for touching her, this is just epic. Because a mafia man, like obviously Nino's not afraid to get his hands dirty and to kill people, but he does it specifically for the sake of Elena, and he does that and he has that energy. Like once he's tuned in on Elena, he's very like, no one comes near her, no one touches her, she is mine, no one else's, and just everything we kind of all love about this trope. So again, another mafia one, but such a good one. And this is the first one in a series. However, it's like a one and done. And then the next two books follow different couples. I haven't read those yet. I'm very excited to get to them. But this one is just incredible. Okay, this one now is a motorcycle club one. So a little different, but kind of along the same lines of like being like outlawish type. You know, like they're kind of like criminals, like mafia people, but in the fictional worlds, we're all like, give them to us. So this one is a motorcycle club book. This is the third book in the series. However, like I said, with the Devil's Night series and with the Kimura Chronicles with Cora Riley, every single man in this series has this vibe. I just picked out, I'm like, who is really the one out of all of the ones that I've read so far that radiates this energy? And I had to go with book 3 with Lion. So this one is Good Gone Bad by Gianna Darling. Like I said, it's book 3 in the Fallen Men series, but all of the men radiate this energy. So to get to Lion, you are still getting 2 other men that have the same kind of energy. And okay, so I'm reading book 6 right now, which is Dead Man Walking, and actually Priest would 1,010% be the reigning champ over them all, but I'm not finished with that book yet, so I don't want to include it. But Dead Man Walking Priest is my fucking favorite right now. I'm loving this book. Good Gone Bad though, book 3. This one follows Lion and Harley Rose, Lionel, but then they end up calling him Lion. So this one follows a motorcycle club princess kind of. So she is the daughter of the head of the Fallen Men, and she's kind of had some issues with her family. And again, I don't want to get like too spoilery into the plot of it, because the first 2 books do kind of set up Harley Rose as a character a bit and kind of like how she fits into this world. And Lion has been like her guardian, kind of. I say that very lightly. So her father Zeus went to jail when she was younger, and when her and her younger brother were younger. So he kind of stepped in and was like taking care of them for a bit until Zeus was able to get out. Zeus's book is number 2, so you get more of that context in that one. Lion's always been like protective of Harley Rose. However, he is a cop, and if you know anything about motorcycle club romances or motorcycle club books, cops and the motorcycle clubs do not really mix. He's like the good guy, but like the Fallen are also kind of good guys, and he's like on their side. and like tries to be on their side. You know what I kind of mean. But basically Harley Rose finds herself in a really bad situation, and Lion kind of comes in to help keep an eye on her because she does not want to accept the help of any of her family members, including the Fallen. So Lion kind of steps in and takes on that role, and he is so fiercely protective of Harley Rose. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that, you know, he did kind of watch over her when she was younger, and now that she's older and now they're seeing each other in like a more equal dynamic light, he's kind of being like, ooh, wait, I think I want her to be my girl. And you know he's gonna do what he has to do to protect her. So again, he's not afraid to unalive people either, and it's so good. He really has that like very possessive, protective quality over Harley Rose, which I love to see, so that's why I did pick him out of them all. But like I said, any man that you find in this book, you're gonna find that they have this trope to the max. Okay, and lastly for this video, like I said, I had so many, but for me, when I'm watching rec videos and there are like 15 recs, I get kind of like bogged down. So I'm doing 7 in this, but even so, like I said, some of the series give you a lot more context. This one is going to be Savior by Fiona Cole. So this is another contemporary one, so it's not like a motorcycle, not a mafia, just a regular old dude. But I mean, is he a regular old dude? Not really. So this is the 3rd book in the Voyeur series by Fiona Cole. However, these ones are like standalones that you can read without having to be like interconnected. The only ones that I would say are different, are exceptions to that, are 2 and 4. You really need to read 2 before you read 4, but 3 you can kind of read just like on your own. You don't really need to know the other 2 books at all, really at all. For it. This one follows Eric and Alex. So Eric's 2 sisters went on a family vacation back in the past, were both kidnapped and sold into sex trafficking, and then he like hunted these people down and unfortunately was only able to save one, and by the time that he got there, one of the sisters was not alive anymore. So he has kind of like dedicated his life now. I mean, he's like a regular businessman, but he has dedicated his life to saving girls from sex trafficking. And Alex is living with her sister and her sister's boyfriend. I don't remember what happened to their parents. But she's living with her sister and her sister's boyfriend, and they steal all of Alex's money. They're addicts. They don't have any money to do anything. They have no jobs, no prospects, and Alex is in a really tough spot. So she ends up auctioning her virginity off online, and Eric sees this and flags it, so goes to this motel and saves Alex from a very dangerous situation and kind of takes her in and takes her under his wing, and the story kind of goes from there. Eric is so protective of Alex, even though he doesn't want to be. He's like, I literally don't want this 18, is she like 18 or 19? He's like, I don't want this girl like being stuck in my head and in my life, but yet he can't help himself. And he again, he's not afraid to unalive people, but he is just like a regular old guy, you know, like he's not a mafia guy, but he definitely is not afraid. If the situation calls for it, he's stepping up to the plate. Okay, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys found some good books to read, and I hope you love this trope as much as I do. I really love a very protective hero and someone who is not afraid to get his hands dirty in the name of his woman. So I hope you found something new to read today and have some new reading material. So anyways, that's it. I don't know what's coming next week, but I will see you when I see you.